What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. I am Wayno. If you like what it is that I do here, make sure you hit that sub button, like, share it, all of that. Today we talking about Thug. Every time Thug tweets, every time Thug says something, and it's related to his life or what he's going through, he's getting met with scrutiny. And this is going to continue. I'm going to tell y'all why. We in a different time. We in a different phase. The things that used to matter to people have changed a lot. And the things that still matter to people when it comes to the streets has gone from here down to here. As much as people like to be in street people's business, that's all it is. People just being in their business. Do they actually care? Do they actually sentimize? Do they actually give a damn? Absolutely not. So Thug tweeted, he said, if you're a rapper and you rap, you just got to go gospel, twin. And of course, anytime Thug says something about ratting, immediately everybody shifts to Gunna, right? They think it's directly to Gunna. He got to be talking about him. Yes, ma'am. What happened? They not. My man TP says something. And I think what he said is important. But I'm going to call TP because I know he understands this as well. He said, watching the internet turn on Young Thug because some niggas told on him is the craziest shit ever. And I totally agree. I totally agree. The internet is definitely switching on Thug. But it's not because of somebody telling on him. I'm going to tell you why. It's because of music. There's people who have had all types of allegations on their name, all types of cruel things, horrible things, embarrassing things, negative things, things that make you look at them as less of a person. And you know how they always been able to bounce back? With a hit record. Now, I'm going to keep it 1,000. I'm not one of them people that doubt Thug at all. Thug, one of my favorite rappers ever. Yes, I said it. Do I look for Thug to be Nas? Nah. Do I look for Thug to be Biggie? Nah. Do I love Thug's music? Absolutely. Do I think Thug can rap? Yes. When he raps, go listen to Halftime. A lot of the purists going to sit here and say, oh, no, that ain't rap, that ain't bars, that ain't hip-hop. Yes, it is. Go listen to Halftime. Thug can rap his ass off. But it's been a minute since he's had a hit. See, Money on Money, I like that record, him and Future. But they honestly could have kept that one to the side. For Thug to have gone to prison, fought one of the biggest cases possible, the longest standing trial in Georgia history, and come back with Money on Money, I think it makes people turn on him. It definitely makes people turn on him. Because you got to ask yourself, what are they consuming from Thug? Thug doesn't have a reality show, right? Thug doesn't have this documentary that's out. Thug is not some public speaker that we looking for him to say things for us to listen to or to lead us. We listen and like Thug for music. Now, every turn that he gets an opportunity to say something, you know what I'm saying, regarding the situation that he's going through, let's not get it twisted. This is Thug's situation. This is shit that he had to endure. He had to be in that cell. He had to be the one sitting there with Brian Still and hearing about people taking plea deals, and some of them plea deals involved pointing fingers, and YSL Woody. You know what I'm saying? He had to go through the thing with Woody. He literally mentions Woody on songs, you know what I mean, as a person who protects and defends him. And then have to see that interrogation video, and then I know everybody laughed and joked about it when he got up on the stand, but don't think for a second that this man ain't hurt. But that has nothing to do with the music unless you're putting it in the music. Now, Thug still got this album coming. He still got this album coming. I'm always excited for Thug's music. Been in tune with him since around 2013. You know what I'm saying? And he's grown because a lot of people have called him a gimmick. Of course, when he was wearing dresses and shit and he was putting the heart emoji eyes under his homies' pictures and all of that, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, we really couldn't figure out what kind of guy he was. You know what I'm saying? But he's shown and proven, and he's elevated time and time and again. The adversity that he's gone through, is what people want to hear about in his music. We don't want to see no tweets. Let's just keep it 1,000. I understand that social media is a part of how people communicate with their base. or they fans and all of that. But that's not what people want to hear from Thug. People want to hear the music. And the main reason why this is happening is because Gunna's still kicking ass out here. Whether Thug is talking about Gunna every time he says something regarding how he feels about people who told or whatever case may be, they're always going to attach it to Gunna. Now, the thing about Gunna is this. Gunna went through what he went through. When Gunna came home, he dropped an album. He changed his look. He changed his entire appearance. He went through a whole different transformation. You know what's crazy? I just seen NLE Chopper, right? And he then shaved his head off and shaved his hair off his head. He got a baldy and all of that. Artists always go through phases. When people talk about Kanye, you got the college dropout, then the late registration, the teddy bear stuff, right? Then you get graduation and 808s, then My Twisted Beautiful. It's different aesthetics, it's different sounds, it's all these different things. One thing that Gunna has done, regardless to how anybody feels about his status or what he did or didn't do, or if he said the right thing or if he did anything to put people behind bars, any of that, he's leading with the music every time. He don't speak much. He picks very, very few and far between who he wants to talk to and what he wants to talk to them about. And that's strategy. Now, the thing with Thug is, Thug has an opportunity to make possibly the album of the year, if he does it correctly. Possibly have one of the biggest comebacks, if he does it correctly. But we've seen more tweets. We've gotten more tweets than we've gotten albums. Not albums, songs, excuse me. We've gotten more tweets than we've gotten sound bites. You know what I mean? Of actual music that's come out. We see the GQ magazine thing, right? You had the GQ magazine situation. You had the GQ magazine situation where they kept asking, you know, they had to ask about Gunna, all of that. And that's what people really wanted to hear. But I don't think we want to hear it from no tweets or no magazine interview. We want to hear some music. And I think that Thug has an idea, but even what he's done since he's been home, like, of course, he's wearing the mask, you know what I mean, when he goes out. He's wearing the mask when he goes out, but then he's on IG doing the money phone thing, right? It's kind of like that Ja Morant thing. Remember when Ja Morant, after he hurt himself and they put the camera on him and he puts his hand over the camera and then they just pan to a different angle? It's like, Thug, you say you don't want to be seen, you wearing a mask when you out, but then we still see you. So it's like, I don't think people really know how to take it. And I think that it's also been taking too long. Now, I want to talk about the point that's being missed here when it comes to Thug. Yes, Thug, there has definitely been a time and a place where if he went through what he went through 10 years ago, there would be more lore to it. It would be more excitement about it. It would be more the exposing and the, yo, they did this to me. That would have been bigger in the stratosphere of how people view rappers that are gangsters, how people view rappers who go through court cases, how people view rappers who go through hardship, right? I think it would have been bigger. But now, because you have so many people who are not rappers but claim to be gangsters, and they've all fit into the stratosphere of hip-hop media in one shape, form, or another, more people are starting to look at the association with being a gangster as just being pure stupid. There was one point in time where being a gangster or viewed as a gangster was like this superhero mystique, right? It was like, oh, they really do that, or that's what they into, or... And I think there's still generally a space for that, right? Like there's still some sort of space where people view gangsters or guys from the street as some sort of mystic thing. But it's just too much information now. And now people got court documents. So now they look at, it used to be like, when I was younger, back in my day, when Sean had the situation when they were shooting in the club, people looked at Sean as like the biggest thing because they like, yo, Yo, what? He got into it with somebody in the club and shots rang off and he shot and he's not telling and he went to court every day and he got 10 years and he held it down. And that was looked at as like this magnificent story to the lore of his gangster persona outside of the music, because people was doing interviews and saying, yeah, you know, I rep this gang and I shot these people. It wasn't like that back in the days. It wasn't so much information. But now when people look back and they look at Sean's story, they say, oh, that was stupid. You know what I'm saying? You was getting money and you was signed to one of the biggest labels and you did something like that. So I think that what's happening with Thug is, keep in mind that as much as I love Thug and a lot of people in the hood love Thug, I'm not the person that goes to his shows. I'm a ticket buyer is what I mean. I'm not the person that fell in love with YSL over a hit record. I had been watching him grind for years and I've been following the music. But the average fan that live in the burbs next to me, that don't give a goddamn about what you got going on in the street, yeah, they care to a certain extent. But all they want to know is, what's the song, bro? Where's the video? Where's the album? That's all they care about. They're comparing him to Gunna. And while music is subjective, right? While music is subjective, Gunna's in the lead. He's in the lead. He's in the lead because he keeps putting out music. He's in the lead because he hasn't fallen into the trap of what's set before him about the perception. Gunna could have, for all the disrespect that he's gotten over the past 2 years, he could have been crashed out 100 times, went live, started talking crazy. Man ignored all of that. That nigga got in the gym. It looked like he got something brewing with Under Armour because he's just wearing Under Armour for no reason. You know what I mean? But he got in the gym. He took his health serious. People used to look at him and say, oh, man, look at this guy. You know what I mean? He out of shape and he on drugs. You remember the Whip It video? You know what I'm saying? Remember that? People used to look and be like, oh, man, this dude, and now he's become like this fitness fixture. He represents fitness. The women love him. He's making hit records. He's on not on runways because I haven't seen him on a runway, but he's at fashion shows. He done picked up where he left off at. And I think that because of who Thug is and what he represents, it's not as shiny no more. And I'm talking about the streets. I still love Thug regardless as an artist. That's the only way I know him. But I'm talking about the streets. You know what I'm saying? The streets ain't as shiny as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, not when back in the day, we only knew the news that was in our newspaper or locally. Social media has shown us that crashing out is something that people do all over America. And every day when something bad happens, you know what people was doing? They looking at that saying, oh, these niggas is dumb. Y'all was getting all that money and y'all was finding time to do this dumb shit? Y'all was getting all that money and y'all was finding ways to associate yourselves with this. Now, let's put something into perspective. The associations that you build from the time that you coming up in the streets, growing up, whatever the case may be, it ain't so easy to just turn it off. Let's just start there. It ain't as easy to just say, oh, nah, you could just stop doing it or you could just fully detach yourself, especially when you're in a position where you ain't getting caught. See, when you ain't getting caught, you feel invincible. That's the trick of the street. There's a countdown that begins from the time you step into that. From the time you step out that door and you make your decision to be there, it's a countdown. Death or jail. Or other stuff. You know what I mean? Being strung out. Or you could get harmed and be disabled. It's so many different variables that can happen in the street. But the success of it is to continue to keep moving with impunity and keep moving and nothing gets in your way. Keep moving and nothing can stop you. Keep moving and nobody can get in your way or tell you nothing. That's the trick of the street. But then you get humbled when you catch one of them cases. You get humbled when one of your closest people get dropped. You get humbled when you got to sit down. But that trick still be in the back of your mind. Y'all remember The Wire? Yeah, remember when Marlo, you know what I mean? Remember when Marlo, he got out, and instead of him going and chilling and getting him a shorty and none of that, what he went and did? Went straight to the block, and nobody cared who he was. Now, I'm not going to say that don't nobody care about who Thug is. Because like I said, and I'm going to reiterate this, I love Thug as an artist. I love his creativity. I love his sound. I love his courageousness to be daring. Feel me? I think that's one of the biggest things that I like about Thug, for him to be daring, right? But it's a new block now. You get what I'm saying? It's a new block now. I got a lot of people, and I have my views when it comes to certain things, when it comes to the streets. I've had tons of friends that got put away because somebody pointed a finger at them. Feel me? And even with that being said, as ridiculous as it might sound, I salute all the dudes that take their time on the chin. Because if you're doing something that you know you ain't got no business doing, don't use somebody else to get yourself out of a jam. So I salute like all the real rights, all the ones who look the judge in the eyes and know that they had to take what they did. You know what I'm saying? I salute that, because that's all you can do is salute it. It don't get you paid. You know what I mean? It don't get you put in some Hall of Fame. That Hall of Fame that people seek from the streets is nothing but gossip. But I understand. I also understand, why it's that way. I hope Thug puts out a great body of work, not a good body of work, because we need greatness from him. We need you to, like, So Much Fun was a great album. So Much Fun, start to finish, is a great album. We need greatness from Thug. Feel me? Like, we need to feel, we need to feel his presence again in music. We need to feel that urgency. We need to hear what's going on here, not here. This is how I do it myself, y'all. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually you will. I catch you on another one. If you like what I did today, hit that sub button. Catch you in the next one. Peace.